Inside here is the best kept secret of Belen, and it could be something that may be changing the way that people sell food and groceries locally, because we're doing it differently than almost anyone that I know of running grocery stores. Donald Garcia, Circle I Beef, 0.7 miles away. This is the Raw Whole Milk, 10 miles away. Wild Woman Kombucha, 3 miles. Microgreens, Christie and Leland, 23 miles. Cheese, 177 miles from Tucumcari. That's actually the furthest thing in the store. Everything else is closer. Hello everyone, my name is Chris Whitson. I'm one of the co-founders of Bombita Farms, and in this video we're going to talk about local monetary impact. I'll try to keep this video short. My last one was a lot longer because it had to run through what the farm is all about in our farm to you retail business. So you can go and check out that video if you want to know more of that. This is specifically about helping your local economy. We're going to explain to you why we do things a certain way and how your dollars vary depending on how you spend them. So we're going to try to keep this under 5 minutes if we can. So there's this concept called velocity of money. That is how money moves around in an economy. And actually the Fed tracks velocity of money on a national scale. That's what this chart is right here. As you can see, it's down at record lows. Velocity of money, when it's low like this, means that wealth is accumulated at the top. It also means that money doesn't move as much. So basically, velocity of money, when a dollar moves, that's velocity of money. When a dollar sits still, velocity of money goes down, or well, up. And so the ratio that you want is for the velocity of money to go high, and it's not. It's all being pooled by the wealthy and individuals and things, and it's not getting spent, which is funny because during the pandemic and after 2008, we printed a lot of it, and it still doesn't move around that much. So this is how you can have an effect on your local economy. So velocity of money, that's the definition, is just money changing hands. So anytime you spend money, you're contributing to the velocity of money, which is a good thing. That's economic health. So why is it important to our store? Because almost all the money that we spend gets spent locally. So when you bring money into our door and spend it at our farm to you stores, half of it goes to pay farmers and producers. That's right, 50% of our business cost is the cost of the product itself. So anytime you come in here, half of that money is going right back out of the door and being spent in your local community. The other half is wages, utilities, rent, equipment costs, insurance, legal fees, fuel, all those other things that aren't directly part of a product. And so a lot of people talk about shopping local, but if you don't understand the velocity of money, it's hard to say how local a business is, because if you have a business like our packing store next door, that business, even though it is locally owned, all that money goes somewhere else. We don't buy boxes or tape or shipping services from anyone local. It goes to FedEx, UPS, the post office, Uline, and manufacturers of the products that we use. Very little of that money gets spent locally, just wages and rent, because the building owner is local, and that's probably almost it. And then anytime we have to hire a contractor that's local, if we have repairs, the local alarm company and things like that. So that store, even though these two stores are owned by us and they're both local, this store is way more local than that store, because what we then take the money in and spend it on is not spent locally. But our farm to you stores, it's almost 100%. And so that's where your dollar goes further. And when the more that we can expand, the more that we can do that. So if you start to focus a lot of your spending effort on stores that you know spend their money locally, then we create this tiny little circle of the velocity of money. Because when you look at velocity of money from the Fed chart that we showed you, that's for all US dollars that are in existence. That's how often they move. We want to talk about velocity of money on a very narrow scale: county, state, city, region. And so with our store, we're keeping all of that money except for a few percentage points in New Mexico, and mostly in Valencia and Socorro counties, a little bit of Albuquerque. And so when we expand into Albuquerque with our other locations, we are going to be spending money there on wages and rent and utilities and things like that. But 50% of our product cost, most of that still comes from rural areas. So it will come outside of the city. And we average a smaller store like this, they'll be slightly bigger. Smaller stores like this probably do $500,000 in revenue. So you're talking about $250,000 that we can funnel into rural communities and farmers per store. And we want to open at least 2 in the next several months to year. And so when you contribute to our expansion campaign on Honeycomb, if you go to bombvita.com/fund, then that is money that will generate itself over and over and over and over and over, and we'll recycle it over and over. And that's how you stimulate your local economy, is because that money is really hard to leave when you purposefully spend it that way, the way that we and a lot of our customers like to try to do. So we would really like for you to go to that page, check it out, look at the prospectus, see the deals. It's a very good interest rate, and we really like the prospect of being able to pay our neighbors in our community instead of a bank. So we really invite you to do that, because you're supporting your neighbors way more than you think you are when we grow and add new locations. And we can't wait for you to come along that ride with us and not only participate and see it happen, but you can even profit from it as well. And that's another way that we try to keep all of the money local as much as we possibly can. I wasn't able to keep it under 5 minutes, so I'm sorry about that, but there's a lot of information and there's a lot of things that we try to educate people on how things are different here, and we want to let people know how much they can really have an impact. And you guys have no idea how much power you have with your local money. So thank you. Again, I'm Chris signing off. Go to bombvita.com/fund and help support us open those other locations. Thank you.